Former King Country and Marlborough loose forward Greg Brimble was our regular rugby analyst on Absolutely Famous. And Greg joins us today to talk about the makeup of the All Black team, which is named on Sunday for the first part of the season, the Rugby Championship, and always a lot of expectation and excitement among rugby fans. Greg, about the first naming the All Blacks, are you pretty excited about it? There's a fair bit of talent to choose from.
Well, I am. I'm really excited, John, and thanks for having me on again, mate. Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? There's a lot of injuries about at the moment, but to counter that, there's also a hell of a lot of good talent out there, and several positions we're spoilt for choice. So I'm really looking forward to it, mate. I believe the announcement is coming from Ian Foster's Te Awamutu club room, so that'll be good, mate. But looking forward to seeing who makes the cut and especially what new caps they're going to go for.
Yeah, and of course they'll also selecting an effectively a B squad to go to Japan and play 2 games. So you would think that pretty much all the players in contention will be in either of those teams. I don't see anyone else coming in to the side apart from the injured ones at the moment.
Well, especially I think if you look at some of those positions like around halfback, for example, John, there's 5 or 6 genuine contenders for the halfback spot. They're only going to take name three for the championship and also the World Cup. So the couple that miss out will certainly go with the New Zealand 15 to Japan, and they'll be well and truly in the reckoning, mate.
Yeah, we've got some terrific depth at halfback. Who would you pick? Your 3 halfbacks?
Oh, look, Nuggy's got to be in there for a starter, doesn't he? You
Yep.
can't you can't leave him out, and I think there's a real toss up for the second and third spots, and I think um, the second spot I think is between Weber and Finlay Christie, and they're both very similar type of players. But I've opted for Brad Weber because I think his experience and his leadership will be invaluable, and he's proven. He's a proven competitor, and he's proven on that World Cup stage as well. Among the other contenders are, of course, Falau Fakatava, TJ Perenara, and Cam Roigard. So I've opted for Nuggy Smith, Brad Weber, and Cam Roigard as my 3 halfbacks in the All Black squad, mate.
Yeah, good choice. I think Roygaard's a real point of difference, and if anyone's played his way into the team, it'd be him. Obviously, a toss up between him and Falau Fakatava, who also offers that ability to break the defence around there. And of course, the wings with Sevu Reece out. It's probably a good thing if you're Caleb Clark, you'd be breathing a sigh of relief.
Yeah. They talk about. It's interesting, isn't it? I was thinking about this morning. That when they don't talk so much now about left wingers and right wingers and fullbacks and that they group them as the outside backs, and that's I suppose that's evolved over time as wingers have had to become, part of that last line of defence as well. And the ability for either one of those 3 players to drop back and cover, especially when New Zealand likes to bring the fullback into the line so much, you have to have a winger coming back and covering. So they group them as the outside backs now. But in my outside backs, I think they're going to use Bowden Barrett a bit at fullback, John, there. I've opted for Bowden Barrett and Will Jordan as my fullbacks, along with Sean Stevenson as a bolter, and Moni Narawa, that fantastic player who's in a massive vein of form at the moment, along with Mark Talia, Lester Fainganuku, and my bolter for the outside backs is Zahn Sullivan. So I've left out Caleb Clark because I don't think he deserves his spot, John, and I think we need the X factor and players like Sean Stevenson, Amoni Narawa, and Zahn Sullivan provide that X factor, and I think we're going to be looking for that. And these guys need an opportunity in the Rugby Championship. They need to be playing now if they're to be considered for the Rugby World Cup.
Totally agree with you, Brims. And the other thing about those players you mentioned, they're all multi-positions. Whanganui plays centre, Sean Stevenson wing, fullback. And who was the other one we talked about?
Will Jordan can
Will
cover
Jordan,
either
wing, and
position.
Zahn Sullivan, first five, fullback, wherever you put him, he's a very talented, and he's got that left-footed boot as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the makeup there, but I really do think we need to take some of that talent. There's Sean Stevenson has absolutely deserved his selection, and I think he's a certainty for this squad that's going to be named. But I'd love to see Zahn Sullivan given an opportunity. I'm a big fan of Zahn Sullivan. Sadly, that means that Stephen Perifetta is going to miss out, mate.
Yeah, and of course, going to the other end of the spectrum, the props, there's three Crusaders All Blacks injured: George Bower, Fletcher Newell and Joe Moody. I'm pretty sure George Bower's out, not in contention for later on, and Fletcher Newell and Moody are also injured, but maybe okay for the World Cup. But I see this as a big opening for Tamaitai Williams, the big Crusaders prop, if he plays both sides.
Absolutely, and isn't he an exciting prospect for the future, John? Like you said, he can play either side of the scrum equally well. He's a huge body, and he's got some really good footwork as well for a big man. But I think they'll go with five props, maybe six, but I'm picking five, and my five are the incumbents: Ethan de Groot, Terrell Lomax, the two Auckland props who have come back into form recently, Opa Tuingafasa and Nipo Laulala, and along with Tamaiti Williams. So I think Williams is a certainty as well to be named in the squad.
Yeah, you mentioned the two Auckland Blues props, Tuingafasi and Laulala. I thought they were outstanding in the quarterfinal. They're both, especially Laulala's, really developed his running game, and he's obviously arguably the best scrummager in the country. So I think it's great to see him developing that skill as well, the running skill.
It's pretty exciting, isn't it, that we can come up with prop forwards like that, and three of our best are still unavailable from the Crusaders. So there's a huge depth of front rowers in New Zealand at the moment, let alone our hookers.
Yeah, like I've got Samisoni Takiaho and Cody Taylor as certainties, but I guess it's out of Asafo Amur or Dane Coles for the third one. If you're picking on sledging, Coles would win, but not sure that'll work at the World Cup.
I agree. I think Samisoni Takiaho and Cody Taylor are certainties for this for selection, and the toss up is who is that third one. Now I think they'll probably give it to Coles because of that annoying factor. He's the type of player that's gonna bait and probably opposition players and pull some penalties perhaps. But he's got to watch his discipline. Personally, myself, I think Asafa Moore I'd love to see him go. He's been in good form this year, but so is Ricky Riccatelli up in Auckland. He's moved from the Hurricanes up to the Blues. He's kept Kurt Eklund out of that side, and he's in terrific form, Ricky Riccatelli. But I'd be plumping for Takiaho Taylor and Asafa Moore myself, and leaving Colesy at home. But that's sadly someone's going to miss out.
Yeah, very interesting. And the loose forward, there's a lot available there. And Ethan Black he came back into it for 5 minutes last week and went off, but hopefully he's okay. He'll be in the mix. But Billy Harmon, do you see a place for him? He was absolutely brilliant for a very weak Highlanders side every week.
I'd love to see Billy Harmon get in there, but when I'm putting my loose forwards together, and I've got 8 loose forwards in my mix, and when I'm looking at the combinations, I can't find a spot for Billy Harmon, and I'm trying so hard to. He's such a wonderful player, and he really deserves a spot. He'll definitely make that New Zealand 15 to Japan, but I can't see him. He's not going to put out Sam Cane. Sam Cane's he's in terrific form at the moment, Sam Cane. He has never looked fitter and stronger than what he does at the moment, Sam Cane. He's in really, really good form at the moment. Artie Savia, Dalton Papali. I mean, Papali and Kane are going to be the two open side flankers. Um, Artie Savia can play seven, and then you've got Ethan Blackadder that can play seven as well as 6 and 8. I've plumped for a bolter in Samipeni Finau, that wonderful Waikato Chiefs blindside flanker who's been in red hot form this year. So my loose forward makeup, John, for all it's worth, is Sam Cane, Artie Savia. I've got Scott Barrett in there because I think they're going to use Barrett. Barrett has to be on the field. He's not going to put out Sam Whitelock. He's not going to put out Brodie Retallick. But I think we need Scott Barrett on the field. So I think they're going to try him more at number 6 because we need that big body there. Along with Shannon Frizzell, Dalton Papali, Hoskins Satutu will go because he's a specialist number 8 and they need to take him. Along with Ethan Blackadder and Samipeni Finau. So that would mean Akira Iwani, Luke Jacobson, and Billy Harmon missing out. But what riches we've got in our loose forward stocks at the moment.
Yeah, good choice. I'm hoping they pick Josh Lord as one of the locks, certainly for the rugby championship, because he's a real goer. He's aggressive. He's a big man. He's a giant of a man. Just great skills. And I think, he missed last season injured, and he's had a taste of All Black rugby, and he certainly looked the part when he did play.
Yeah, and he looks fit again now. But I think it's going to depend. The toss up, given that they're going to take Retallick and Whitelock, and almost certainly Tufu Vai, I think the toss up is: do they take Patrick Tuipulotu or do they take Josh Lord? And it depends what they're looking for. Tuipulotu he's got some niggling injuries at the moment. He's probably not going to play on the weekend in the Super Rugby semi-final against the Crusaders. But I think that's where the toss-up will be. But yeah, Josh Lord's a wonderful player. It's and it depends as well what they're going to do with Scott Barrett. Are they going to play him as a loose forward, or are they going to find somewhere for him in the second row as an impact player? We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I like him. I like him as a lock. I think between the three of those, they'd cover 80 minutes. Retallick, Whitelock, and Barrett. Terrific player. As you say, you've got to have him on the field. Then now the midfield, Anton Leonard-Brown looks as though he's coming into some nice form. He looks like one of the players selected. I think Geordie Barrett will get there, Rico Ione. Now, the other one with David Avili out injured, you've got Braden N or Jack Goodhue not burning the house down. And, of course, the bolter Levi Amur from Moana Pacifica, who I'd love to see given a crack.
Yeah, and I think you're right too. You can put a tick next to Anton Leonard-Brown's name. He's had a lot of touches in the last couple of weeks, and he's got his confidence back. He's a certainty. Along with Geordie Barrett and Rico Iwani, they'll all be named. The toss-up, as you say, is who is that fourth midfielder that they're going to choose. Braden Enora and Jack Goodhue, they haven't lit the world up. They're consistent. They're proven performers, I suppose. But I'm looking for an X factor in that midfield there. As I know you are, John, and I know you're a big fan of Alex Nankerville as well. So I don't know how Alex is going at the moment with a couple of niggling injuries he's had, but he wouldn't do us any wrong. Billy Proctor, he's had a wonderful season. Billy Proctor, that Hurricanes centre. But for me, I agree with you. I'd love to see Levi Moore given a shot, and because I think we need that power player in the midfield there, and I'd like to see him given a crack at it. But we'll wait and we'll see. One thing for sure is Roger Tuivasa-Sheck won't be going.
No, Roger, I think they'll be welcoming back into the Warriors team, which is another story. They're going really well, and good on them. But yeah, I'm just hoping that the selectors Ian Foster and his assistants pick the players in the right positions, and very early on, to me, they have to establish some combinations which they missed the boat on last year.
Yeah, no, I agree. There was I mean, your frustration and my frustrations were shared, John, and that was the inconsistency in the selections. Some of the selections didn't seem to make sense, did they? We haven't got long to go, mate. We've got 5 bloody tests left before we got to meet France in the opening of the Rugby World Cup. I mean, having said that, I think we need to take a we need to not take a risk, but we need to experiment with a couple of these players coming through and look at and try some of these combinations in the rugby championship. Now it'd be nice to win the rugby championship, but you would sacrifice the rugby championship, wouldn't you, for the Rugby World Cup? And if it means we use the rugby championship as a bit of an experimental type of tournament to try and find out who's the best in those positions this year, then I think now's the time to try. Players like Levi Moore, Zahn Sullivan, Sean Stevenson and Monty Narawa. Let's see what they're capable of.
Cam Roygard, as you mentioned.
Beat on the big stage.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, it's exciting, and I think all the teams will be using. They're all warm-up games, basically, as far as I'm concerned, and the trophies don't mean too much this year. I mean, hopefully we don't lose the Bledisloe, but they'll want to keep that for sure. But yeah, the Springboks, the Wallabies, the Argentines, and us, I'm sure, will be using it as a warm-up.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will be. It'd be nice to win it, but I don't think anyone's going to be too worried about it. But the Australian teams, the Brumbies are playing well at the moment, mate, and they're going to make a big contribution. And I wouldn't be locking that cabinet up yet with the Bledisloe in it, because I think the Australians got a really, really good chance this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Brum's lovely to talk, mate. And next time we talk, we'll be picking over the All Blacks team which has been selected. So I'm looking forward to that.
We will be. Let's hope there's some new names in there and there's some controversy. I want some controversy, John. I want some arguments and some controversy. I want to see some risks taken as well. So yes, looking forward to it, mate.
Yeah. Cheers, Brum. It's always great to talk footy with you.
Cheers, Johnny. Have a good day, mate.